journey home, and thank you for joining me. Many cultures and belief systems around the world believe that returning to our home in the heavens is a true meaning of life. How do we get there? Through spiritual refinement, by following a set of guiding principles and achieving spiritual perfection. In this series, we follow Falun Dafa, also known as Falun Gong, whose guiding set of principles are Zhen, Shan, Ren, or truthfulness, compassion, forbearance. Today, I have an article from a practitioner in China titled Learn to Listen. Language is the most direct means of human communication. Speech is a way to express oneself and to vent one's feelings. Listening, on the other hand, is a process of understanding others. Unfortunately, most people enjoy speaking, but few learn to listen. A psychologist once said that when people talk to each other, it seemed that one was talking while the other one was listening. However, the fact was, while one was talking, the other one was not listening. Instead, he was thinking about how to respond. If we only pay attention to expressing ourselves, we have not learned how to listen. Significance of listening. Listening is a process of finding out, understanding, obtaining, and accepting the information from the outside world. Listening is learning. A person who knows how to listen is able to obtain a lot of information from others. He is able to learn things all the time. Listening to an elder's teaching is like reading a good book. One will accomplish more if he wants to learn from anyone he meets who is better than him. While listening to a friend's suggestion or opinion, one will learn new ideas, new technologies, and be more harmonious with his friend. Confucius said, if three of us are walking together, at least one of the other two is good enough to be my teacher. Listening may save one's soul. Listening may renew a broken heart and awaken the kindness hidden in an evil soul. A desperate person attempting to commit suicide may give up death and choose a new life if someone is willing to listen to him about his pain. A ferocious kidnapper may give up his evil ways and choose to surrender because a child is willing to listen to him about his painful life as a fugitive. The manner of listening. First of all, be sincere. Heart to heart communication is the biggest realm of communication. Sincerity is the foundation of such communication. Only sincerity can foster sincerity. A half hearted attitude can be figured out by even a fool. No one will open his heart to someone who looks down upon him. Secondly, be humble and equal. Without equality and respect, there is no true communication or exchange of ideas. Be modest and calm, and show respect to others. Be kind hearted, calm, and open minded. Respect others, and you will be respected. An arrogant attitude shuts the door to communication. Thirdly, be patient and attentive. A good listener is not just listening passively. He will pay rapt attention and respond accordingly. Only when you listen attentively can you truly understand the other person. If you are absent minded, you may lose an opportunity. The process of listening. First of all, do not be too eager in expressing yourself. Be courteous and invite others to express themselves first. Secondly, forget about your own values and opinions for a moment. Empty your mind so that you can hear others. Do not cut in. Let others finish their story, express their feelings, and vent their dissatisfaction. When you listen, use simple body language, such as smiling or nodding, to show that you are following the speaker. Thirdly, do not be eager to reject others after you hear them out. Do not jump to conclusions. This is dangerous and may cause misunderstandings. Give yourself time to think and judge. What to listen for? First of all, grasp the key points and understand the speaker's ideas. Enrich yourself with others' wisdom. Secondly, pay attention to the speaker's emotion and mood. Get first hand experience of the speaker's anxiety, resentment, sorrow, joy, and happiness. Communicate and understand others. Thirdly, figure out the implication and overtones. Discern the needs and wishes that the speaker may be too embarrassed to say explicitly. Things to pay attention to. Do not waver like duckweed and believe whatever you hear. Listening provides us a means of gathering information. However, listening does not replace our own analysis and judgment. We must not only learn to listen, but also be able to select the right information. We cannot just listen to others' opinions and lose our own viewpoints. What a wonderful article! Second article is by Liu Yichun, titled An Exceptional Auction. Sometimes people miss the most precious things around them, while others can enlighten and become the lucky ones. Once upon a time, there was a man who was very frugal but spent lavishly on art. Over the years, he collected many famous paintings. One year, his country was involved in a war, and his only son joined the army. Not long after, the father was informed that his son had died on the battlefield. His son had initially retreated to safety, but to save his wounded fellow soldiers, he ran back into the fray to carry them out one by one. As he was carrying the last one to safety, a bullet hit him. The first Christmas after his son's death, the doorbell rang. The father opened the door and saw a young man. "Sir, you don't know me, but I am the wounded soldier your son was carrying when he died. I'm very poor and have nothing of value, but I remember your son said that you love art." "I'm not an artist," said the young man with tears in his eyes. "I have painted a portrait of your son to thank him for saving my life, and I hope you will accept it." The father took the package, opened it layer by layer, held the portrait in his hands, took down the famous painting over the fireplace, and hung up the portrait of his son. With tears in his eyes, The father said to the young man, "Son, this will be the most precious piece in my collection. It is worth more to me than any of my other paintings." A year later, the father passed away, and his entire collection was to be auctioned off at Christmas. The first lot was the portrait of his son, not the masterpiece that everyone expected. Everyone asked the auctioneer to put up the famous painting first, but the auctioneer said the portrait must be sold before the auction can continue. Just then, an elderly man stood up and said, "Sir, will $10 do? That's all the money I have on me." I knew this young man. He died protecting his fellow soldiers. The auctioneer said, "Sold." Just as people were looking forward to the main event, the auctioneer said, "Thank you all for coming. Today's auction is now over." Everyone in the audience was stunned. None of the famous paintings had been put up for auction yet. How could it be over? The auctioneer said, "According to this man's will, whoever bought his son's portrait would own his entire collection. That was the reserve price." Collectors who had gathered for a chance to buy those famous paintings did not realize that the portrait the old man purchased for $10 was the most valuable one of all. How wonderful! Thank you for joining me on the journey home.